Jai Shriman Narayan. Jai Shriman Narayan. I pay my obeisances to my spiritual master, Srimad Jagadguru Sudarshan Acharya Ji Maharaj. I pay my obeisances to Lord Sri Ramanuj. I pay my obeisances to our Purva Acharyas. I pay my obeisances to our 12 Alvars. I pay my obeisances to Mother Lakshmi, and I pay my obeisances to Lord Sriman Narayan. I welcome all of you here physically at the Sri Narayan Dham in Durban, South Africa. I welcome those that's watching this discourse locally, nationally, and internationally. And I welcome in advance those that's going to be watching this discourse when it is posted on YouTube and the various groups from around the world subsequently. A special welcome to honored guest, Miss Samuels. I knew her dad well back in the day. I think in 2001 we fought a common enemy. I think that was the first village idiot encountered. And now 22 years later, we fight in another village idiot. But we'll be successful. Yeah, please excuse me, I'm not well today. For a few days now. I have not been absent, I've only been absent one day from the time I started as a guru 10 years ago. So I don't want to be absent. I'm just trudging along. We have 3 more days left of service, and I hope God gives me the strength to finish this marathon service that we've been having from the 5th of May. It has been quite energetic, consuming as well. We had many high-profile guests from various religions, races, and different walks of life. I think Ms. Samuels is our second lawyer in this week. We had a lawyer come pastor. I just want to explain quickly who we are and what and why we are here. So, the material world has institutions for information called universities. And similarly, for the spiritual understanding, God created 4 spiritual universities. The very first spiritual university is headed by the consort of the Supreme Lord, Mother Lakshmi, and it's called the Sri Sampradaya. Sampradaya means tradition. The second university is the Brahma Sampradaya. The Brahma Sampradaya, and headed by Lord Brahma. The third spiritual institution is headed by the 4 Kumaras. And the 4th spiritual institution is headed by Lord Shiva. All are Vaishnavites, all these traditions are Vaishnavite traditions, and all the information is the same. This information is the essence of the Supreme Lord. It is compiled by the Supreme Lord Himself when He incarnates as Veda Vyas. So to put it in its context, Vedic information is the essence of the Supreme Lord. Then He incarnates and He enacts the laws that he has created. So in Miss Samuel's dimension, it will be called decided cases. So the Lord, he promulgates the laws, and because he is absolute, he incarnates and he lives those laws. And whilst living those laws, he gives humanity an understanding on how to live in the material world. So he has come down twice already. He enacted all Vedic injunctions in the Ramayana, and that was 2 million years ago. Then 5,000 years ago, he reappeared as Lord Sri Krishna and enacted all the Vedic knowledge again in the Mahabharata. And it was at this point that he spoke the Bhagavad Gita. So like how we have seasons, we also have 4 seasons in the universe that we experience. The first season is called Satyug. In this season, the divine and the demonic live separately. Then we have the next season called Treta Yuga, where Lord Dham took his birth, and in this season, both the divine and the demonic live in the same world or the same dimension. Then in Dwapara Yuga, the divine and the demonic live in the same family. And now we are in Kali Yuga, the divine and the demonic lives in the same person. This is why you'll see somebody is right for a while, and then they go off and they come right, and they go off and they come right, because they are impelled by the divine qualities, and then they were impelled by the non-divine or demonic qualities. You can leave it off. It won't affect your sound. So, to get back to the Sri Sampradaya with all this background information, from time to time, people veer away from spiritual practices. And there was a time in the year 800 where this information that I'm giving you was not being practiced anymore. And God sends down saints and sages to revive the information again and again and again. And at that point, there was a saint called Natha Muni that took his birth. And then he started the revival process, and his grandson, Ramanuj Acharya, continued the reviving and re-establishing of Sanatana Dharma. And then Ramanuj Acharya's disciple, Lord Sri Ramanuj, 1006 years ago, took his birth, and he brought all these Vedic injunctions together. He placed them side by side, and he gave reasons, he summarized. It took him 60 years, and he brought and revived and re-established Sanatana Dharma. He had 74 disciples, and those 74 disciples continued his work until my Guruji was born in 1937. And then Guruji handed me the baton. I was born on the 3rd of October 1962. So there is that consistent flow of knowledge like you would have experienced. If you go to law school, then you'll get your professor and you'll get students. Not all the students, when they qualify, will become a professor. They'll go in different domains, but a few will become. So this is the disciplic succession that works in our system, similar to the universities that are established in the material world. Lecturer, student, student, lecturer, and it continues. And this is why we invited you to come and be a part and parcel and understand how the system works, because today Sanatan Dharma, those that's born in Sanatan Dharma do not want to take time and understand their birth in this great culture and tradition. It's very simple. Bhagavad Gita, 700 verses. These 700 verses were spoken by Lord Shri Krishna in 45 minutes on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And this is all that is necessary in this age. These 700 verses. They do not belong to Indians or Hindus. This is a scientific journal. It belongs to mankind. Indians are not mentioned here, Hindus are not mentioned here. It just so happened that when this information was given, it was given at Kurukshetra. But nobody has copyright. It is stated in Sanatan Dharma, wherever you live, that becomes your land. That becomes your nation. So we are living in South Africa. This is our land, this is our nation, this is where our loyalty should be. Wherever you are dispersed in the world, you practice this book in conjunction with the constitution of your country. Whichever country you live in, Sanatan Dharma cannot convert anyone. There is no conversion because it is a science. You cannot convert the law of gravity. It just exists. And this is where most of so-called Hindus, there is no such word as Hindus. I keep saying we must forget that terminology. It's a geographical location identifying a set of people that were living across the river Sindhu, just about 1400 years ago by Muslims. Prior to that terminology did not exist. So the first thing we should do is abolish that word. Forget that word. Then if we want to know what is Sanatan Dharma, Sanatan Dharma is exactly what we are practicing now, oneness. Sanatan Dharma means your eternal duty to the Supreme Lord. Eternal duty to the Supreme Lord means serving mankind and humanity. It doesn't state what race, what gender, simply uplifting another human being. That is Sanatan Dharma. So this is what we've been practicing for the past 10 years. All my counterparts are in India. I'm alone here in South Africa. And when I was given this mission by my Guru, 10 years ago, 2013, my mission from my Guru was create a divine society. One sentence, create a divine society. And my mission from Lord Ramanuj was respect all, worship your own. So it's very difficult if you're living in Africa on your own to follow these instructions. However, we've been very successful. I think this 20 days or 19 days have shown the success. I've been consistent in pursuing the mission of my two spiritual masters, and we've been absolutely successful. So this means that if you put God first, if you take His mission seriously, everything comes and unfolds accordingly. We've had in this past 20 days, so every race, every culture. We even had a king from DRC. So we've mixed, we've mingled. Yesterday I saw on Facebook this morning 2 bishops and a pastor clapping away for Sriman Narayan. Absolute beauty, absolute beauty. So we've achieved and actuated oneness and social cohesion. Generally it's a window dressing where pastors and gurus and Maulanas, they stand for a photo shoot just to show that, yeah, we've actuated it, we are living it, we are experiencing it. I think that is enough background for you. You can come and have your talk. I think you're 1 year late, if I'm not too sure.
Yes,
okay. Guru got a good memory. Yeah.
Do you want to hold, or do you want to use a stand?
I think it's okay. Thanks. Thank you, Guru, for that wonderful introduction. I just want to say, to start off, being here... Oh, that's on. It's on. Okay. I'll try and project. Being here while you were singing the bhajans, I could feel the warmth and the energy and the love. There's not many people in this room, but you can feel it so strongly. That passion, that dedication, and it was just so wonderful. I was sitting with my eyes closed, with my hands together, and I felt it. And thank you for that, because I haven't felt something like that in a very long time. So, yes, as they mentioned, I am very late. I was supposed to be here about a year ago, but I think everyone is on their own spiritual journey, and I think this is now the right time for me to come and share my history and my story with all of you. And as Guru did mention, my spiritual journey and my career path, my company, Samuel Attorneys, it all starts with one person, the person who inspired me, the person who raised me, and that was my dad. For everyone who doesn't know, my dad was a human rights attorney and an overall great man. He passed away in 2020, but to say he dedicated his life to helping people is just a complete understatement, really. He was the type of person that would go out of his way to save people, to help people, to give them a better future, give them a better life. I watched him my whole life doing everything that he can to make this world a better place. And when he died, it left a huge hole in the community, in our hearts, in the lives of everyone he helped and everyone he touched. And at that time, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of people reached out to me with their stories, how he helped them, how he changed their lives, how he made a difference in their lives. Even the small acts of kindness, how he inspired them, taught them, all of these actions, the impact that he left in the world is what inspired me and my current career path. To say he is sorely missed and truly missed is just an absolute understatement. But what he did for the community, and it was so necessary. The help and work that he did, with women, with children, with actions against drugs and violence, it was completely necessary. We live in a society, unfortunately, that these issues plague us. They take over. They ruin lives, and the act and fight against these issues is so necessary in our society. So when he passed away, I made it my life's mission to continue that work, to make a difference. For those of you who don't know me, yes, I'm an attorney, but I'm also currently doing my master's in criminal law, specializing in child justice, because helping children and giving them a better future is what is so important to me. So that is the type of work that I focus on. That's my passion in life, making a difference in society. One phrase is something that constantly plays in my mind as I'm doing all of this work. And it's as simple as this. People think they don't have a voice, that they can't make a difference, but that's not true. We all have the ability to affect change. It's about waking up every day and making that conscious choice to affect that change. Thinking you are not important or your voice doesn't matter is not true. Every voice matters. Every voice should be heard. Even a small act of kindness can change an entire person's life. A smile can change an entire person's day. These are the values that we should embody. Helping people, promoting kindness, doing small acts of kindness if you can't do grand gestures, obviously. So my work centers around that. Yes, we are an all-female law firm, and there's a lot you can read about us. There's been lots of articles, but the type of work that we focus on is helping people. It's making a genuine difference in the world. I deal a lot with domestic violence. I work with organizations such as AROSA, which is Active Residents of South Africa. And what we do, and my work with them, focuses a lot on gender-based violence, on helping abused children, and making sure that their rights are protected, that we can ensure that they have a better future. And a lot of people and societies, attorneys, the legal industry is saturated with attorneys who a lot of people focus on different aspects of the law, and that's fine. That's their career path, that's their career choice. But mine came from more of a spiritual place. I've had my ups and downs with my faith, but over the years, my connection to God, in particular Lord Shiva, changed my entire outlook on life. It changed my mannerisms, the way I handle situations. My dedication to my career comes from my dedication to God. That strength comes from within me. And, I'm very much about energy. I'm very much about the vibe, and that's why I was so, it was so lovely being here. The thing, an aspect of the law that everyone needs to consider is that there's so many laws that are unjust. There's so many, heartache and pain and devastation in the world. But we as the people need to bind ourselves together and stand against those injustices, whether it's in the law, whether it's in society, whether it's in our daily lives. And no one is alone. Everyone goes through heartache, everyone goes through pain, everyone goes through injustice. And that should unite us, remembering that we are not alone. And that if we stand together and if we fight together, we're stronger. We're a unit. And I just want to leave you with one final thought. And this is something that's very much stayed with me. My dad said something to me when I was very, very young. Because a lot of the time he was busy and saving the world. And I always asked him why he did what he did. Because I was always curious as to why he spent so much of time out of home helping people. And he said to me that for some people, it's not a choice. It's not a decision. It's not something that, you choose to do. It's just who you are. It comes from within you. It's a part of you. You are someone who helps. You are someone who makes a difference. You are someone who dedicates your life to the people. And I really hope to follow in his footsteps and be that person to the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone knows what my next line will be. I've been saying this after every speaker, that we've unearthed gems that in this 20 odd days. Two things. You can Google Guru Gita. Guru Gita, alright? It is spoken by Lord Shiva to Mother Parvati. And it is Lord Shiva that connects you to a Guru. He is the head of the Guru system. Alright? The next thing, I truly believe that this entire world, if all the lawyers get together in this world, governments will topple in a jiffy. Because idiots are running this world. Real idiots are running this world. Every country has a constitution, has laws, bylaws, and politicians, they're just popular people. They're not intelligent people, they're just popular. You understand? And their popularity is messing up this world. So I'm going to ask you to join us on a very sensitive program. I initiated it in this few days, the African Indo Institute. I want to formulate. So I asked the pastor, who's an attorney, and I'm also requesting you to get involved. You have so much to offer. You in the right frame of mind. We don't want to see 2021 again. We don't want animosity between blacks and Indians. We want a mechanism that when when these troublemakers try to incite the rift and the violence, then we can quickly connect to a mechanism that can diffuse it. So we want to have mandate. We want to present ourselves tomorrow, on Friday. A national member of the interfaith is going to be at the ashram, and I'm also going to catch him and ask him to open doors, because this is within his mandate, and we need to fix this thing in the next few weeks. We need to work fast. Guru is sick. Guru wants to see his mission at least in the first stages before Guru leaves this world. So I want to work fast. I won't be troubling you directly, Jessica. You had communication with my chairperson, Yatin Vishwadhar. Yeah. So let's get together again. It's absolutely necessary. If we involved in social cohesion, then this is a pimple that's been there since 1949 that we need to remove. And it's in your department. It's in your domain. This has to do with law, getting the structure in place, and also sitting on this executive. So I want to thank you for coming all the way. You living around? Yeah, Westville. Okay. I think Mom had a practice in Resvale. Is it still there? No. Okay. Yeah, so I've been around. I'm South African. Yeah, I want to thank you, Jessica.
Yes, please.
We'll coordinate with your schedule, and we'll have a meeting at the ashram with all the role players, and you're going to advise me from the legal dimension on where we register, how and where we channel what we are doing. We need to get state recognition so that we can be a legal mechanism if something happens to diffuse it. Jai Shriman Narayan. Okay, Amita,